Houston, we have a problem.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Help me help you.
You are a toy!
My team is dead!
There's no crying in baseball!
Relax. This pod is making you aggressive. You complete me.
Hello and welcome back to weboughtamic, WBAM fam. This is a pop culture podcast, a pop culture hot lava cast. On the films of Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise for our series Tom v Tom, A Tale of Two Toms. Cruisemas with the Hanks. Today we're talking Joe versus the Volcano, our second Hanks movie in this series. Welcome. My name's Ernest.
My name is Hunter versus the Zoom Audio. This is a remote podcast.
Yeah, Zoom pod. Yeah. No Drew today. He found out that he hates his podcast job and wants to go jump into a volcano.
He got tired of us churning out petroleum jelly for the patrons.
Yeah.
And just
he's not dying, and he doesn't live in a hotel. He's just taking the week off. But joining us today, we're so happy to have back on the show Sean Patrick O'Brien. Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I went to the doctor today, and it turns out I have a brain cloud.
And you didn't get a second opinion?
I did not get a second opinion.
You gotta get a second opinion.
All right.
You're on the way to a volcano right now, right?
Yeah. If I have to leave this podcast like early, it's because I have a telehealth, and it is my second opinion, and they're going to tell me whether I have a brain cloud or not.
And it's like the same doctor as the first one, but he has like a top hat on this time. So you're like, that's definitely
yeah. He's got like one of those like old timey curly mustaches.
Yeah.
You know,
it's Meg Ryan, but with a fourth wig.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
the best one yet. So Sean, you famously guested on our Robin Williams series for Man of the Year.
Yes.
An episode that I was shocked did very well. Because I didn't think people. That's probably just because people love you and they just want to listen to you.
That's very kind.
But I did not expect the Man of the Year episode to be like one of the better, like on the top half of the Robin series. So now you're back with a vengeance, because you did not select that movie.
No, I didn't. I'm happy to be. I love this movie. Yeah, I'm happy to be talking about a movie I actually do enjoy. Man of the Year. I hadn't seen that going in. I didn't like it after Joe Versus the Volcano. It's a great movie. I think it's I'm not sure if I would call it one of my favorite movies, but it always teeters on that. Like, I mean, hey, it's a 5-star movie for me on Letterboxd. I love it so much. Yeah, it came into my life at very interesting times, I feel like. So I actually you all will enjoy this. I saw this movie for the first time in a Tom Hanks retrospective at the Museum of Modern Art.
Nice.
So I saw The Burbs, which is another favorite. I saw the MoMA's personal 35 millimeter print of Toy Story, which was, I think, gifted by, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think it was gifted by Steve Jobs, because Steve Jobs is like involved in Pixar. And the last one I saw was Joe Versus the Volcano, which I knew little to nothing about. I saw it the day after Trump was elected, which I have to say, this movie has come into my life at very interesting times. So there was that, there was the whole, I don't know, everybody I knew at least felt very bummed out, including myself. Watched this movie, gave me a kind of glimmer of hope. Again, screened this movie on Zoom for some friends. Very peak into COVID. Also a glimmer of hope. and watched this movie recently. And I don't know, nothing bad has happened. Well,
Yeah. Luckily, the world's in a really good
There's a lot
spot
going
right
on in the
now.
world right now.
Yeah.
I hesitate. I'm not getting into it, but
No, you don't want to. Well, sorry. Now that we have you here, let's hear your thoughts about the Israeli-Palestine crisis. That's really what we have you here.
We need to show this movie to the members of Congress as they failed to elect another speaker.
No, but I mean, all jokes aside, I think it's a very it's a movie that really, like, it's the kind of movie you watch and you say a feel good film. Like, it makes you feel happy, and I enjoy that, even if it with its weird like moments to it, because it really is like out there.
Well, this movie really grabbed me from the jump because it does have almost like a very kind of anti-capitalist agenda a little bit. I don't think it fully lands that plane by the end. But the setup of the movie I found fascinating because it's coming off the 80s. It's 1990. So you have this era that is defined by like the excess of capitalism. And right off the bat, like, we're in the 90s and we're re-examining that. We're rejecting that. We have Tom Hanks in a truly awful wig embodying the idea that this isn't all it's cracked up to be, that having the job in the big city, you know, and participating in commerce and capitalism is not really the move. So I feel like that introduction to this character in this world and some of the more whimsical things, the slanted, stylized approach to the story, it gives it that it scratches that itch of like people feeling like they need to break out of some kind of rut. And, you know, maybe that is part of why it resonates with so many people, because it just, if you feel like you're in a rut in your life, watching Joe versus the Volcano can give you that sense of hope. Like, things could be different. You know, It doesn't always have to be so bad.
I will say, going into this, I don't know about you, Ernest. I had never seen this before.
Oh, me either.
And I went in completely blind, and I had no idea what this movie was about. For some reason, in my head, even though it's called Joe versus the Volcano,
you thought he was going to fight a volcano.
No, well, I was like, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie. Volcano is a metaphor. It's just going to be a very grounded rom-com. Like, that's going to be what I'm getting in store for.
There's just going to be a volcano. It's at some point unrelated.
I did something that like I don't often do, which is I put this movie on pretty late at night, and I was like a little bit tired. And I watched like the first like 15, 20 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but like I got to watch this movie tomorrow when I'm more awake. Like, I am not, I feel like I did not put myself in the proper headspace to be prepared for what this movie is and its whimsical nature, especially because this is the second John Patrick Shanley movie. Well, the first John Patrick Shanley directed movie that we've talked about in this podcast. But your partner, Sean, Kira, came on this during our Nick Cage series. And Sean Patrick Shanley is the screenwriter for Moonstruck.
Yes.
So
Academy Award winner. That's
Academy Award winner.
Soon to come back up on the pod again when you guys reinvite me for Wild Mountain Time, is a directed movie that I think we had mentioned on the Man of the Year episode.
Yes,
talked about off air about it. If I had more time,
I think it was during the episode. I'll have to listen to it. I think it was during that. I think it was a tangent during that episode where you did give away the premise of that movie. And I still really want to see it because this guy has just a wild filmography. When you look at
I thought you were going to say, I thought you were going to say that you were going to come back for our John Goodman series for the We're Back, A Dinosaur Story episode.
Oh, he did. Yeah,
because he is a screenwriter on that movie.
Well, just his directing credits. It's Joe versus the Volcano, Doubt, the Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Catholic priest abuse movie based on his play that he won a Pulitzer Prize for.
Successful play, right?
And then Wild Mountain Time, the Emily Blunt falls in love with a questionable Jamie Dornan.
With skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to be spoiled the ending. Falls in love with a man who thinks he's a bee. Anyways, yeah, no, I was gonna give everybody homework and say, we got to watch that before the pod, but I simply did not have time or the patience to rewatch it. So another day down the line.
That's gonna be great for our Jamie Dornan watch through though. That episode,
our next actor series, Jamie Dornan, where we.
Man, the Jamie Dornan series would get bleak so fast.
All the 50 Shades of Grey. I would love to show Drew the 50 Shades of Grey movies. That would be so fun.
I think Jamie Dornan is a great actor. I'm gonna say it.
Hey, he played Pa in Belfast. You guys all remember the film Belfast, right? That definitely didn't come out and then disappear off the face of the earth.
Hey, listen, I'm Irish. I love that movie.
Yeah, you're in the Kenneth Branagh bag. It's just I was once a small Irish lad.
In the Troubles.
Also, he's excellent in Barb and Star.
Yes, I was just about to mention that.
Great performance.
Apparently, he's in A Haunting in Venice,
and he was very good in that too. I enjoyed that movie. Another Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's a Branagh head.
Branagh boy. So John Patrick Shanley, you mentioned it, very, very, very successful playwright, has made multiple Tony, Pulitzer Award, either nominated or winning plays. This makes so much more sense whenever you consider this is coming from a theatrical sense. This is such a classical, Shakespearean comedy in that there is this fairy tale element to everything that's being told here, and then just thrown over with this post 80s capitalistic malaise that I think that while realizing that while watching the movie helped me enjoy it so much more. My only thing with this movie, and we'll talk about it as we kind of get into it, is that this is a movie and it's a problem I have with a lot of 80s movies, is that it just ends too fast. A lot of times with these movies, it feels like the third act is a sprint when I'm we just got to the volcano. Can we chill for a bit? I want to
I feel that.
Let's spend a whole 30 minutes here. And
let's have Nathan Lane do way more offensive stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I watched this movie on Tubi. Because it is streaming right now on Tubi. And so with Tubi, you can see the ad breaks. And whenever we got there and I realized that it was only 16 minutes left in the runtime, I was wait, what? We just got to the volcano. We can't be ending the movie now. So that's my note. Joe Versus the Volcano.
More volcano.
More volcano.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree with that completely. And I think that based on what you were saying of expectations of what this movie was, I had heard about this movie for a very long time and assumed it was a disaster comedy, just based on the title and the poster. But it is not. No, it is far from that. It is super, fairy tale like and surreal, and it's really charming. But I agree. I would like more volcano moments.
Yeah, it's a story of a man who has a dead end job. He quits it and he goes on this journey. And along the way, he meets 3 different versions of Meg Ryan. And that's really, you could ask for any movie, really, is to meet 3 different versions of Meg Ryan. That's an ideal existence in my view. I think this is the big takeaway, at least for me, is Meg Ryan. I think she's phenomenal in this movie. She's absolutely going for it as 3 different characters that the Joe character encounters on his beautiful journey, starting out with the kind of meek girl at work, and then this bombastic LA yuppie, and then finally just the standard
classic Meg Ryan,
that he finally falls in love with. She's so good in this movie, guys. Oh my god! I mean, I love Tom.
She kind of is the MVP of this movie.
Yeah.
I wrote that down in my notes whenever I was watching this. God, I love Meg Ryan. 90s Meg Ryan is just it's a fucking rocket, man. In all of these movies that we're going to cover all 3 of her tie-ins with Hanks on this series, and like what an introduction to her and the chemistry that they have together, where they're playing three, again, completely different types of characters in here, and you kind of love all of them.
And absolutely shocking that this was their first like collab together. Like I really thought this was like a later one, and then I looked at the timeline and was like, oh, they haven't done any like this was before Sleepless in Seattle. And
Right. Well, yeah, I was just about to bring up her filmography. So she does a bunch of tiny roles, movies like Rich and Famous, Amityville 3D. Then she gets that supporting role in Top Gun, where she has just like the one great scene as or
Take Me to Bed or Lose Me Forever.
She gets like two scenes, right? Like two key scenes, the one by the piano and then the one crying about Goose being dead. I feel like that's kind of like her major introduction. She does something called Armed and Dangerous, then something called Promised Land, then Inner Space, which I've still never seen, Joe Dante film.
great movie.
Then she does in 88 DOA and the Presidio, and then 89 is When Harry Met Sally. So When Harry Met Sally is like, that is the Meg Ryan movie to me. Like I'm sure we're gonna love, the other two we're gonna cover here, the Sleepless and You've Got Mail. But when I think of Meg Ryan, I think of When Harry Met Sally. That is a all-timer movie. And then she follows it up just a year later with Joe Versus the Volcano. And I feel like she has pretty successful run. I mean, we've covered 1998 City of Angels on this podcast, the movie that taught my fiance how to feel. The story of a Nicolas Cage angel that
it taught me he taught me the song Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls is what it taught me.
Wait, is that the one that's like, and I don't want the world to see me. I just want you to know.
The funniest thing was us realizing live on pod that was a song written for the movie. It's like, oh, the lyrics, the verses are explaining the plot of the movie. Like,
I'm realizing this live on air right now.
Yeah, no, it's kind of insane that then you watch City of Angels and it's like, oh, that is just the movie.
Wow.
What are you singing about?
Goo Goo Dolls.
It's insane.
There was nothing like the Goo Goo Dolls back in the day, man. They just exemplified the energy of the 1990s.
It was the best.
Never forget the song that the guy, I don't think it was a Goo Goo Dolls song. I think it was just the guy on his own that he wrote for Treasure Planet. I think he had a major hand in that one.
There's more songs. I thought that Goo Goo Dolls has 2 songs and that's it. They have Iris and they have Slide. Why won't you slide?
Yeah, so John Raziznik, he wrote the song I'm Still Here. That's the main guy from Goo Goo Dolls from Treasure Planet. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. That's another one. Yeah. Okay. That's another one.
So yeah,
sure. Okay.
Meg Ryan, a treasure, absolute treasure. She is coming back this year with a movie that she directed and stars in. So everyone has to show up for What Happens Later, which is slated to be released later this year, very soon, actually, in November. Yeah, she's fantastic in this movie. We're going to get into all 3 of her roles. Let's start at the top. So what do you guys think of kind of the way this movie opens? It has this extended title sequence. We get a sneaky Bo Welch drop in there.
I was going to say,
designer.
One of my favorite dudes. I think he's so talented.
The director of Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, a movie that I'll defend till the end.
A movie that has crazy good production design.
You and my wife are just like the lone defenders of the live action Cat in the Hat.
I think
movie.
It's hilarious. That's a great movie. But no, yeah, I mean, I wish he would direct again. I mean, he's done some TV, but I know. Yeah. No, but great production designer. Whenever I see him on something, always super happy. He did Beetlejuice, I always think of. He did The Lost Boys. He did like a lot for Tim Burton and Barry Sonnenfeld. And
The Birdcage. He was production designer on The Birdcage. Wow. Men in Black. Oof.
Yeah, you know it's going to be a good movie when his name shows up, I have to say.
It really is. What is the opening song that plays? It's like I can't even remember what the song is itself, but that, and then like seeing the corporate drones walking through the gray world where they produce what was it? It is rectal probes and petroleum jelly. That just rocks. What an introduction into this world of like late stage capitalism. That was the thing that I watched when I was asleep, and I was like, I'm not seeing things correctly. I need to go to bed and then try again tomorrow. It turns out I was seeing them exactly right.
I love the opening to this movie. It just lets you know right away that this is not quite our world. This is a slightly stylized, slanted version of our reality, and it just puts you in the right mood and the right mindset to just
absolutely.
Okay, this is not exactly our reality. We're going to go for something a little bit more different, so that as the story starts to play out and as we start to see some of these more like wacky kind of out there sequences, you're primed for it. And just the way it's designed, the way it's built, just it almost looks like a Pink Floyd music video. Like it just looks really nice.
That's the song is it's by Eric Burden, who's the lead singer of the Animals.
Oh, good.
Classic House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of this whole I guess just the whole chunk in the office, him sort of freaking out and quitting and just being oppressed by this whole environment and us being sort of introduced to this movie from this perspective. What do you guys think of all this?
It's interesting because I feel like it sets a tone for a movie that it's not. I feel like you can kind of break this movie up into like multiple segments and say like, they're all super stylized in extremely different ways. And so I really like that. And I think that, usually in the opening of a movie, you kind of understand what the movie is going to be, but this movie completely does not do that at all. It's just, it is tonally all over the place. And it is the only time where a movie is so tonally like insane, but it somehow all works for me. Like, I think it's wonderful. And, this is a fact on IMDb. I'm not fact checking this right now, but apparently like the lamp in his office displays the events of the movie.
The like one little tropical lamp that he has. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, that does the yacht, the volcano, a moon. I'm like, that's awesome. I love that.
There's like a CinemaSins reading of this movie where it's like he actually died and this is all playing in his head. That's stupid, and I don't care about that at all. But
he jumped into that volcano, damn it.
That's why he's literally every woman he meets is the one girl in his office, but just with a different wig. There's definitely a reading of that. I don't care. That's
what happens when you have a brain cloud, Hunter. Haven't you ever had a brain cloud?
Every day of my life since I came out the womb.
It's anomalisa disease. Everyone has the same.
Everyone looks like the same little dude to me. I wanted to say about this opening whole sequence. Shout out to Dan Hedaya, who's like a classic 80s that guy who plays his boss. I recognize him. He's in Blood Simple and Commando and Buckaroo Banzai. Like he's in a ton of like supporting roles in the 80s and in the 90s and stuff like that. I thought that he was great. His whole thing where he's just repeatedly on the phone being like, I know he can get the job, but can he do the job? I'm not arguing with you. I know he can get the job, but can he do the job? And just like saying that like on repeat is incredible. It's really, really great.
This movie is wonderful. A wonderful like showcase for character actors. Yeah. Because nobody really stays that much, but then everybody who's on screen makes such like an impression for even like the 5 minutes that they're there.
Right. Yeah. So once we get out of this section, I mean, I love just like looking at Meg Ryan and being like, is that Meg Ryan? Because I thought that wig was good. The wig on Hanks is terrible, but the wig on her, I was like, that's pretty convincing. That almost looks like a different person. And then they go on their little date. I thought that was so nice.
It's so charming.
It's a good balance of just keeping you within the reality of the movie while also letting you know that it's not our reality. Like you're not in a completely different universe. You still buy these people as real people, like they're on a real date. It's nice, it's cute. But then you see the city in the distance, and all the lights are all crazy. It just looks like a beautiful matte painting. And then when they pull up to the apartment, all the lights in the apartment complex are all crazy. So it's just little touches like that I found really nice, just to kind of set the table. I noticed a lot of long lenses being used, a lot of great cuts, like he asks her to dinner and then you immediately cut to dinner. Like you don't waste any time there. It's just very economical, very efficient. And you're not kind of going out of the bounds of their conversation. You're just really in it, really tight in there. You're not getting inserts of the waiter. You see the musicians come up and they just kind of stay blurred out in the background. So you still stay in the interaction between the two of them. It just sets up the love story really well, even though this is technically a different person than the one he's gonna fall in love with later down the road. But it's Meg Ryan, so you just get that consistent through line here from the very beginning. But yeah, I was vibing really hard with the movie at the jump, and even the next sequence where the crazy fucking tycoon guy that introduces the journey, the odyssey that he's gonna go on. I was like, man,
Jeff Bridges' dad,
John Patrick, is fucking cooking right now. Like, what is this script? What is this guy saying? This is crazy right now.
Yeah, I think the whole visual language in the movie is so interesting because it feels like an old Hollywood film. Like it kind of feels like it's like a Frank Capra movie, and like I really love
100%.
That. Like I love that, and I think that it does that by the way of like the 80s, and like I really, it just works really well, and it's really unique. Like I really cannot pick out a movie and be like, oh, it's kind of similar to that. Like it's there's nothing else like it.
The Frank Capra comp is really, really apt. Like if you watch a lot of old Frank Capra stuff, it's really, especially, some of the things that you're talking about economic storytelling, but also then using the like, it almost lulls you into a false sense of security with some of the editing and some of the directing choices, because some of those like quick cuts that you see then will like later on in the movie, I'm jumping ahead real quick, but like towards the end of the movie, the first time whenever they get to the island of the Waponis, and you just see like it's just like them all dancing and everything, and then just like cut to all the bodies just laying on the ground, and you're like, wait, what? What the fuck is happening right now? It's so like slapstick in a way.
Yeah, so we have our setup. We have Hanks quitting the job. We have the fact that he's dying. He has a brain cloud. He has just a few months left to live, and now we have our superconductor manufacturer man introducing this idea of this island that needs a sacrifice every 100 years, and a man must jump into a volcano to appease the gods. And we're off. This is all we need. It takes its time to get there. I feel like we get a pretty solid chunk of movie here. Like it's probably 20, maybe even 30 minutes of movie. And then even this next section is not super rushed either. It just, I guess that's the compromise. Or I should say more of the result behind why we don't get that much volcano, because we are taking our time with the setup. We're not rushing through the setup, and then by the time we get to the payoff, we're already at the end of the movie. But then we get this next extended sequence where he is sort of getting ready for his journey, right? And he makes friends with the driver, who I loved.
Dude, shout out Ossie Davis, DeMayer from
good.
Do the Right Thing. Like that is DeMayer, and
I wanted him along for the whole ride.
Same.
He's so good.
He's so good. I was really hoping they'd just be like,
what?
How are your sea legs? Like, just bring him along on the trip.
Yeah, he's great, and I like. It is such I mean, it's such movie escapism to have like just like you're in New York, you're going to like the best possible places, the best possible hotels, the stores that like no one can afford, and you are buying it all like a shopping montage. I don't know, it just does something for me. Like
It's
I
great.
love it so much. It's so like, I've lived in New York my entire life. I've lived in Manhattan for college, I think 4 years. And there's sections of New York that I call like movie New York. And then there's like regular New York. But this is like the movie New York. Like, like he doesn't go to the plaza, but then he goes somewhere else. But then like it cuts to him like walking by the plaza. And then he like goes to that, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of it, but like the Hamner Schlemner, that's not how you pronounce it, but do y'all know that? Like the German, like that store with all the gadgets. There's like a catalog.
Oh yeah.
Y'all know what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're
Amateur
talking about.
Schlemmer or something like that. He goes there and he spends a lot of money on like a golf thing or something like that.
On like a putting green so that he can bring that out into the ocean with him, which great cutaway earlier on.
Like literally like watching this, like I didn't see this as a child, but it has that childlike wonder of like, look, I used to get those catalogs in the mail around Christmas every year, and like I'm looking online right now and I'm like, look, they're selling like R2D2 like museum quality replicas for $7,500, or a giant animatronic singing bear for $4,500, and like all this like
Hamasher Schlemmer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyways, he goes there, and I was like, come on, that's like perfect escapism of like you're rich and you're buying the most useless shit that costs so much money, and yeah, I mean it feels like a whimsy movie.
Hold on.
It is funny. It is funny that
can I just derail real quick to just talk about the pop-up that I just got on this website? So I got a pop-up for a handheld electric leaf blower that just looks like the tiniest little, like it's not a huge thing, it's just the tiniest little leaf blower you could possibly imagine. And then right next to that, it's a giant blow-up Grinch.
They have everything.
Christmas.
Again, the most useless shit.
Should I buy a 15-foot Rudolph inflatable for my house?
I was just looking at the 15-foot Rudolph.
It's only like a cool $300.
It's $400.
This is insane. Okay, I know nothing about hockey, so bear with me here. I've sorted on the website price high to low. Okay. The highest thing is a $27,500 autographed portrait of Tiger Woods.
Oh no!
Okay,
but
for
$25,000. This is insane. They're selling the Wayne Gretzky face-off experience, which is you get to meet Wayne Gretzky in December 15th to 16th in Palm Beach, Florida.
Did Wayne Gretzky consent to this? Or did
Only
they just
30 spots will be sold. Airfare and lodging is not included.
I feel like some of the stuff on this website is the kind of stuff you'd see in like an in-flight magazine that's definitely a scam.
No, for sure. But I've been to this place in Manhattan, and I don't really remember much about it, but it is like the store that he goes to. I don't know if it's still there. But I remember getting the catalog for this when I was a child, like every single Christmas, and just scrolling through and being like, wow, because literally like it's like what a child thinks rich people are buying, which like it's useless bullshit, but I guess they are buying useless
for the audio listener.
Should I buy a replica of the Magnum PI Hawaiian shirt for only $89.95?
Hunter's sharing a screen, and it's a Magnum PI Hawaiian shirt.
These are exact replicas of the Hawaiian shirt that Tom Selleck made famous on the show Magnum PI.
I love it. Crazy. I love it. I'm if I ever become a millionaire, I'm going to spend a ridiculous amount of money. I'm getting, getting an Italian
funny
countertop pizza oven for $150.
because why not? Why the fuck not? It is funny. The tie-in of Hank's last movie was big, where he goes to FAO Schwartz, which is like a small child's dream, and now he's going to Hammer Schlemmer, which is like just like a bigger child's dream.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
a spending spree.
What I was going to say about this is like right before he meets the second Meg Ryan. Oh, because he meets the second Meg Ryan in L.A., right? That's when.
Yeah, it's still in.
So this chunk when he's in New York, where he's like trying to be friendly with the driver, but the driver's like, "Hey, man, I got the family at home. Like, I can't spend all this time with you." There is this loneliness there that I found like the movie settled into for just the right amount of time, where it's just like, oh, he basically has unlimited money, and yet he is so alone. And
before I say what I'm about to say, I need to just share. They do sell Zoltar from the movie Big for $13,000 on the website, which is,
my God,
by the way, the third most expensive thing after Tiger Woods and Wayne Gretzky.
Okay, wait a second, Ernie, you now have a Patreon. Yeah, with patrons, we need you guys to up the subscription so that we can have We Bought a Mic can own a replica Zoltar machine.
God, this is amazing. This is. Wow, $13,000. This
Ernie, are you allowed to, like, under Patreon law, just like without consent, just like increase somebody's subscription from like $5 a month to like $5,000?
Just do a direct deposit, just to
like you got this, right? You can do that.
It's 6.5 feet tall. Wow. Okay, sorry to derail. No, yes, I agree, Ernest. There is this wonderful moment where he goes to dinner by himself, and it's got Elvis Presley singing Blue Moon, and it is so emotional and like really just such a beautiful sequence of being like, wow, this guy has everything, but he also has nothing, and it is insane, and I love it, and it's such a weird choice to just have that like lull where it's super emotional, but you know it's like the heart of the movie. You know, I love it so much.
It's nice because it doesn't derail the movie, where like you start out with this guy trapped in an office job and you know you're going to end up in a volcano, right? And then there's this tiny little detour where you have big, fancy, exciting shopping spree and also deep loneliness and sadness. And somehow all those things just sort of fit together. It was nice. I liked it. Sharing more Hammer.
I'm so sorry. I cannot stop looking.
What
I have
the
news,
fuck
guys.
is this?
There's more expensive things that you can
Wait
get
a second.
on this website.
Did you read the description?
So
Hunter, what the hell?
The only robot admitted to the Screen Actors Guild.
That is the second most expensive thing that you can get on here, is a thing called the Celebrity Robotic Avatar. It's the only robot admitted to the Screen Actors Guild. This is the adult-sized robot avatar that has appeared in movies, television programs, music videos, entertained royalty worldwide, and attended countless corporate functions. It is only a fiscal $345,000.
Is it the robot from Rocky? I think it is.
I think it's supposed to be, but that robot looks different. It has a very similar.
No, this is the same one.
Do we think
he
that
just has
this one,
smaller
like,
eyes?
Yeah. If we bought him right now, do you think that he's just like silent because he's protesting?
Yeah,
he's with SAG, so like he can't.
Okay, not to derail this again, but Hunter, how did you find this? Because I thought I went the most expensive.
So I went on Unexpected Gifts. And here's something else that I found, and I promise this will be the last thing that we can talk about this movie that we're here to talk about. But I'm ready to pivot and make an entire podcast about the Hammer Schlemmer catalog.
I've been fascinated by them my entire life, so I'm down to talk about it.
There's something called the Helicycle, which is a 2-seat vehicle that converts from a 3-wheeled motorcycle to a gyrocopter in 10 minutes. It is literally exactly what it sounds like. I don't know if this is legal, like to take on the street or in the air. If I saw this and I was a military entity, I would shoot that shit down personally.
Yeah, but UAPs that they've been seeing out.
So donors, we now need you to step up the game
And
again. You got to
what's crazy
give.
about these items is that you have to call them to purchase them because they're so expensive, which I would like to also derail the podcast again, which I just posted a link in the chat where I posted, they're selling a fucking submarine.
Wait,
what the hell?
I was just about to send a submarine. There's actually 2 submarines for sale. There's actually a submarine in the shape of a killer whale. This one that you have shared is just a regular.
It's like a small
submarine.
10,000 leagues under the sea kind of. It's just a little.
Well,
little
this is an
submarine.
Hovercraft.
This is
What is
this
going
is an
on?
amphibious watercraft. So
This is the most insane shit I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe that.
A
I
golf
did not.
cart hovercraft as well. That's another one.
This is unbelievable.
I'm gonna when we're done
everything that's on here.
recording, I'm definitely gonna go into a YouTube rabbit hole of people reviewing these products.
Yeah, like finally buying them. And yeah, if there is a way, oh wait, there is a request a catalog. I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
I don't know if they show up to my house anymore, but I'm gonna do it.
I would love a physical catalog of these gifts.
I will post it in the chat.
Yes, if you get this catalog, can you please send us some pictures?
2 to 3 weeks. It's going. So I don't know when
let's
this episode's
go.
coming out, but
they have some F1 adjacent memorabilia.
Oh, okay. That's
They have
vaguely adjacent to me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
They have a golf cart hovercraft. Holy shit.
Look at
now
this.
that could fuck that up.
They have a Porsche Le Mans replica that
oh my god, that's awesome.
that folds out into a raceway inside of it.
Wait, that's literally so cool. I don't even like cars, but that's awesome.
That's so sick. It's an exact replica, a 1:32 scale model working wooden slot car track.
This is amazing.
That's so fucking cool. This rocks.
I've been fascinated by this company for I don't know how long, and it's wonderful in this movie. Like it's such a small detail, but I'm like, of course he would shop there because anybody who has this magical Amex Gold card that he has,
that's where you go.
That's just unlimited money. You just go there.
Yeah. And I will say, I didn't even like. Oh, sorry, Ernie. What were you saying?
No, he buys the putt, right? That then has out on the water.
Yeah, exactly.
All things considered, like pretty low key. Now that we know everything he could have bought a submarine, and then him and Meg Ryan would have just been straight chilling. Okay,
that's true.
Like,
yeah, you got a point.
No danger needed at that point if you just bought a fucking sub back in 1990. I will say,
he does have the highly flotation, the high flotation luggage.
So I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't even like really track this Hamisher Schlemmer place because my single favorite place that he went to was the luggage store. When this luggage guy, I've never seen this man before in my life. His name is Barry McGovern. He doesn't even have a picture on IMDb, but the line delivery whenever he's showing all the luggage out and like this, it's a luggage that's also just like a closet or whatever. And Tom says, "I'll take 4 of them." And he says, "May you live to be 1,000 years old, sir." It's one of my favorite parts.
I love it.
Movie.
It's so good. I didn't know that wasn't like a successful character actor.
It's just like a guy. He might be like a theatrical guy or something like
that. Sure.
It's incredible. That line reading is one of my favorite pieces of the entire movie. Also, I love how it's just like this like hidden back room. Like they said that I have a gold card and they're like, "Oh, come to the back, sir. We have special luggage for you."
And then but then that piece of luggage is behind a secret wall. You don't even get to that one until you pass like the test that this guy has.
Just to say the Hammer Schlemmer store, the one from the movie, which again I think I've been in. I've definitely like walked past it before. It only closed early this year, like in January.
It's closed down.
Oh no!
Yeah.
We're gonna take a pilgrimage too.
We need that catalog.
I know. No, it is. I mean, they're operational online, but it. closed down this year and then is making a comeback. No, it is not. It is a
It's
furniture store. I think that's happening.
That's such a. How else am I going to get this? What I just sent in the chat here. This personalized whack-a-mole game, which looks to also be a working bar. It's a bar whack-a-mole combo.
Wow.
This one you don't even have to like call about. It just takes 2 to 3 weeks for delivery. But as long as we order by December 10th, we can get it by Christmas.
apparently there's one in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's
Wait a second. No, I
there's one
think
in
I read this
Chicago.
wrong. They're opening a new location. I
In
read
New
it.
York.
Let's go. We're
in New
back.
York.
We're so back.
So back.
Yes, I misread that. Yes, they're opening a new one.
Yeah, because I was about to go to Cincinnati right now.
As of a month ago, September 1st, they said that they are I think maybe I'm reading this wrong. Nevertheless, no, they are not reopening. I'm lying.
Oh my
No,
God.
it is a furniture store.
You've sent me through
Wow.
a wave of emotions.
I know. No, this is
the
not,
last
me
45
reading that
seconds.
was me experiencing the plot of Joe Versus the Volcano.
Jover. So our guy Joe, he makes it to LA. He meets up with the second Meg Ryan. And this Meg Ryan is a choice. The voice she's doing, the wig she's wearing. I love it. I think it is way out there, but we've been prepped. We've been primed for this choice. The movie has settled us into this vibe where it doesn't feel out of step in the world of this story. Everything I can hardly understand like half the things she's saying because she's speaking with such an exaggerated like LA accent.
Yeah.
But it's really nice, and it's just short enough where you immediately, as soon as you feel like she's outstayed her welcome, you're immediately to the next Meg Ryan, the
Mhm.
final version, the final form, Meg Ryan on the boat to take us out. Which
I
in hindsight,
will say,
like, do we trust this tiny little yacht to journey all the way out to the South Pacific? Because I don't know if I would get on that boat, honestly.
probably not. I don't know much about. I'm not very like. I wouldn't call myself like a seaworthy man. I've been out on the sea, but not for an extended period of time, and
You're not an
sailboat
aquatic-
like that.
Yeah, you're not an aquatic.
Listen, brother. Much like Moana, I am drawn to the sea. Okay, but don't get it twisted. But I just have not like lived on a boat for presumably like I don't know, like at least like 4 or 5 days. I would guess even longer on that thing to get out to the South Pacific. I'm gonna guess that's a hot minute to actually sail all the way out there.
It's a long way, man.
I did wanna
Pacific
say-
Ocean is massive.
Yeah, it's huge. I do want to say before we skip too far past the second Meg Ryan, I kind of love how much of like she's also just like dumb LA girl. Like she's just like she's a poet. And like she's just like long ago, the delicate tangles of his hair covered the emptiness of my hand.
Oh yeah, her phone.
Do you want to hear it again? Like just
That was a nice moment where you get the dissolve from her shitty painting to like them actually in the car.
to like the worst yeah, and like the worst poem that you've ever heard in your life that isn't a
man.
poem.
These LA types, they're just trying. They're just doing their best.
But Joe's
It
not
was-
bothered by any of it, just to
Yeah.
show that he's like literally the nicest person
He
ever.
should have had a one night stand with her though. Like she was so ready to fuck him, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm good. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Take me on the boat. I want to sleep alone." And
It
it's like,
is
dude, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Right, you're leaving tomorrow with my twin, and I'm never gonna see you again. You're gonna jump into a volcano and die. Like, let's.
damn,
do this.
Ernie. Really saying something about yourself here. You're just like all in, just ready to fucking go.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
let's
just-
go.
I'm just saying, like, she had the right idea. Like there was no strings attached to that interaction. They were vibing with each other, You know, they were feeling each other, and he was just like, "Yeah, I think there's another Meg Ryan around the corner for me."
Waiting for your third Meg Ryan. Another one of my favorite. This is like really the moment where I was like, man, Meg Ryan's starting to fucking steal some of these. Every scene that she's in is there's a thing where it was right after he says like, oh, I'm like doing this thing for your dad. I'm gonna jump in a volcano, whatever, and die. He's like, and she's like, what did you do before that? And he was like, I was an advertising librarian for a medical supply company. She just goes, oh, I have no response to that.
It's so funny.
Which is so good.
Yeah.
Her timing on that is so fucking funny. Like, it's just like, damn, Meg Ryan's like a one of one to be able to pull off a line like that.
That was really good. Oh man. So yeah, any other thoughts on this, the middle Meg Ryan before we get to the boat? I think
no, not really. I mean, I think it's such an interesting performance, and like it just really shows how versatile she is. And I feel like Hollywood doesn't really let her be versatile, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of just like an SNL character. Like that's what it feels like.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that she doesn't overstay her welcome, but it really is setting up for what's to come.
Yeah, Patricia. So the first one's Dee Dee, then Angelica, and then we get Patricia. And yeah, I mean, this is everything you want from Meg Ryan. Like this is charming, this is sweet, cute, and smart and resourceful. I think that it's just like the complete package. I wanted so much more. Like I don't know, what do we get to this in the halfway point? Maybe it's past the halfway point we get to this. But it would have been great to have her. As much as I love her playing around with the wigs and the other, you know, the voices and the other character choices, this is like just exactly what you want from Meg Ryan. And it's so fun to see her with Hanks. Hanks in this movie, we haven't talked about him too much. I think that he's kind of just letting her cook for the majority.
He's letting
of the movie.
he's kind of letting most other people cook in the scenes that he's in. All the actors that we talked about and everything else, like he is kind of just being the buoy, the anchor. Not to say that it's like bad performance. He's great in the movie, but like I wouldn't say this is like a top tier Hanks performance.
He doesn't get a really big moment at any point. I think that the closest thing is when he is a little bit castaway mode, really feeling the this is my background, the stranded, the big full moon in the open
Even
ocean.
when he's like dancing on the suitcase, I feel like that's great.
Yeah,
right.
That's great.
Yeah, there's little things he throws in there. But yeah, when before the storm, when they're on the boat, it's just a nice vibe. You know, they're getting to know each other. They're being sweet. He comes on way too strong, way too fast with the brain cloud thing. Like, let's hold that back a little bit. Let's get maybe a first kiss in. Let's hold hands a little bit. Let's maybe ease into that just a little bit later. Terrible timing for my guy. Just not what you want.
Man, you just have so many notes that's going to get Tom Hanks to fuck Meg Ryan faster. That's just all your ulterior motives here that you're looking for.
Well, because I know what's
she's like
coming.
finally feeling it. He's like, I'm soul sick. I have brain cloud.
I know what's coming.
Like,
I know
damn it, Tom.
in Sleepless they don't meet, and then in You've Got Mail he's a shitty like villain trying to end her business. So it's like, can we get one where they're just nice and can be together? No, I guess not. I guess that's not what they're about. So man can dream.
I really love the way that all of these scenes on the boat are shot. Like it's very fun. Like there's like the fun, like whimsical, like the catching the fish and everything. And then Tom
puppet. The shark.
The most like fucked up hammerhead shark you've ever seen in your entire life coming out of the water.
That was a great
eyes, like,
outfit.
bulging out.
When he's fishing, when he's pulling that shirt that he's wearing with those shorts, I want that. That was a nice.
That's a great fit. Great fit.
Yeah, and then the storm. When that storm was hitting, I was like, "Come on, guys! Like, you must have known. It's the Pacific Ocean. Like, what are you doing out on this tiny little boat? Of course this is going to happen. And yeah, it just it immediately gets hit by lightning and sinks. Also, you guys catch the shape of the lightning is the same shape as the logo of the company at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
Cinema, dude.
Oh,
Sick.
dude, what if he died the day that he quit his job and this is all in his head?
Oh, what if Squid? I don't know. I was remember like all those things. There's like Squidward suicide and
Yeah.
the Rugrats.
And then Eddie takes place in
this.
purgatory.
Yeah.
And then we're in the island. Which I mean, I gotta admit, this was probably my least favorite part of the movie.
It's quick, like you said, you know?
Yeah, it just gets built up so much. Like you're just the whole movie, it's called Joe Versus the Volcano. Like you're just waiting for it.
Yeah.
The whole thing is you're on this quest, you're on this journey, and you get there and like immediately, as soon as you see these native people with like soda cans, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, they skirt away from saying what nationality they actually are, but boy, it's a bummer to see two of my favorite people, Abe Vigoda and Nathan Lane, in extremely questionable makeup. And like I said, I love this movie, but it is it is not dated very well.
I do love.
I will say.
I love the like throwaway line earlier where they're like, actually, it was the Romans who got lost and went down there trying to excuse like that's why they're white dudes, but like they're still putting on like orange face. Like it's like offensive, but like I don't even know towards who. Like it's just like it feels bad when you look at it.
Vague, but it's a bit.
It is. Yeah. I'm an Abe Vigoda head, so I love seeing that dude in there. Yeah. He didn't really have much to do, him or Nathan Lane in that area. But yeah, you know, it's an odd place to end the movie. This is what I mean about like, it's one of those things where it's like, maybe if we would have spent more time there, then it wouldn't feel so out of place. Like if that was a full 25-30 minute act of this movie, but at that point it kind of just feels like we're rushing. We're like, all right, let's see that fucking volcano go off at this point. Like it's just like, let's wrap this thing up. That it makes things sit a little bit worse.
No, I feel you and I agree. I do wish it was a bit longer. I mean, I will say I think the best part of that segment is like the production design, back to like Bo Welch.
Yeah,
I think like all like the Polynesian like just feel to it is like really good and just very well production design. It makes me think too, Bo Welch famously did Beetlejuice, the Beetlejuice sequel that never got made, Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. Probably would have felt a whole lot like that. Read the script and it's
bright, it's colorful. I mean, it just makes you think like, you know, John Patrick Shanley, like he managed to get it says $25 million on Wikipedia for just a comedy. It's not even, it does have this concept, right, of jumping into a volcano, but there's no heavy fantasy going on. It is like we've been saying, a little slanted, a little kind of stylized, but we don't get this anymore. This is something we keep talking about all the time on this podcast. Like we should be thankful that a movie like this can still feel somewhat resonant, you know, 30 years later, because it's just not something that gets made anymore, where you can have this level of production value for just essentially a regular comedy, a romantic comedy.
For sure.
It's really nice.
I was thinking a lot about Ernie whenever you were talking about Splash on the pod, about this whole idea of romance in the 80s and now in early 90s, where it's just like very broad fantastical elements, but for the most part still like kind of grounded.
Right.
So it's just like it's this weird thing that's like a mid-budget movie. It's something that reading like a book like Disney Wars, like that they're always kind of talking about like we need to make singles and doubles and not just swing for $200 million budget home run movies that have to hit. And like this is like a classic single double that people used to just go for. Those like it's broadly fantastical, but for the most part still everybody can kind of follow what's going on here, not alienating anyone.
And then they jump in. They get married. The guy, it's funny when he marries him, he's like, "You're married? All right. You're done." I don't remember exactly what the dialogue was, but she's so excited. She's like, "Can you please marry us before we jump in?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever. You're married." And then, of course, as soon as they jump in, the volcano erupts and they get shot into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the end of the movie right there. They recover. They're in the water and they're just happy they're not dead. And I feel like that ties the loop nicely on the movie, because the whole story, he's assuming that he's going to die anyway. If he's going to die in 5 months, he might as well just die jumping into this volcano.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that he survives it, it just it sort of exemplifies the whole core of the story of being thankful for being alive and not wasting away in some office job that you hate, but taking chances and taking risks and you know, taking leaps. It's nice. It's nice.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I think so this is also on Wikipedia. So Roger Ebert initially gave the movie 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Our guy.
So he later screened it at Ebert Fest in 2012. And he said, and this is his quote, which I think sums up the movie. He said, "As I wrote in my review, I had not seen this movie before. Most movies I have seen before. Most movies you have seen before. Most movies are constructed out of bits and pieces of other movies, like little engines built from cinematic erector sets, but not Joe versus the Volcano. I continue to believe it deserves greater recognition and cannot understand why I gave it 3.5 stars instead of 4. So he later screened the movie and said, you know, this needs to be more popular than it is.
Well, 2012, at that point, things were starting to teeter. You know, the machine that we're currently in, or that we're seeing the remnants of was starting up. So he was seeing like how things were falling apart for major studio filmmaking. And you know, you look back and you're like, oh, we had stuff like Joe versus the Volcano back in the 90s. We should have been more thankful for them. So I mean, part of the magic of this movie is that it does what it's trying to do incredibly well. I can see why, maybe if you want to elaborate on this, like why you gave it 5 stars, because it's like, even though for me personally, the ending doesn't quite work, like the final stretch, the movie nails what it's trying to do.
Exactly.
It operates within its own world, within its own reality, even if it might not work for some people. It's what it's going for, the specific things that it's going for. I feel like it nails, right? It operates within its own logic.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just, I mean, for me giving it 5 stars, it just checks a lot of boxes for me. Like, it's great, a movie with great chemistry. It's literally unlike anything. Like, I cannot, like Roger Ebert said, I cannot compare this to anything. It's got a great soundtrack. It's visually amazing. And it's so light and sweet that it just never takes itself too seriously. Like, it's kind of everything I want out of a movie. And I love it. I think it's just a wonderful film. I think it's a truly, truly a delight.
All right, let's get to the categories before we wrap up. First category is Tom swap. Could the other Tom do this role? Could Tom Cruise do the Hanks role in this movie? I don't know.
I think that he could, because this is not like I don't. There's going to be a lot of other Hanks movies where I'm like flat out no, Tom Cruise could not do that. I think that '90s Cruise could do this. The most difficult part might be the Meg Ryan buy-in. I don't know what kind of chemistry Meg Ryan and Cruise are bringing together on screen, but Meg Ryan like exudes chemistry. So I feel like she can do some of the heavy lifting and some of those like romantic scenes whenever those are there. I don't think it's as good of a movie if it's Cruise instead of Hanks. But
what we were saying, that Hanks doesn't really take the driver's seat a lot in this movie, and Cruise would. So it would throw off the balance of the movie in a lot of ways. I think the only way it would work is if you go to an actual volcano and he really jumps into a real volcano.
Yeah.
And that you sell the movie.
That's actually Joe versus the Volcano
did
2.
Jump into a volcano.
It's just going to be Ethan versus a volcano. That's going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2 as he jumps into an active volcano.
Which they haven't done a volcano plot, which it's very shocking.
I think that's like a little bit too 007 Austin Powers-y for the Mission Impossible franchise.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I will say is like last year, Macquarie and Cruise were teasing a musical. And I would love to see Tom in a musical. And I think something like this, it's the kind of it's the term for a movie that I find that like it's a musical without music. It is it really is exactly that. And I think Tom Cruise in the 80s, he could have done this. It would have been a little bit weird, like you were saying with Meg Ryan, but I don't know. Tom Cruise has so much charisma. I think that if he was acting alongside a piece of paper, he would still bring that charm to the movie.
Apparently, there was a musical made of Joe versus the Volcano in 2012. The San Diego Lambs Players Theater presented the world premiere of a musical based on the film,
like a local thing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's out there in the world.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think Tom Cruise has a lot of regrets about Rock of Ages and how that ended up? He's like, I have
a lot of regrets about Rock of Ages.
Yeah, like, can we just do that over again? Like, I'm sorry, Adam Shankman, you are out. You tried and you failed to bring your hairsprayification and make this.
Yeah,
this is not what we needed.
That shit sucked so much. I went to go see that and famously walked out of it and walked in 30 minutes late into That's My Boy instead, which I defend. I love that movie. I think it's a great movie. Probably would not have seen it had I not walked out of Rock of Ages. So Rock of Ages is good for one thing, I guess.
That's the Adams Andy Samberg.
Yep, exactly. It's horribly offensive and really questionable, but you know what? It's pretty.
It's better than Rock of Ages.
It's 1,000% better than Rock of Ages. Yeah.
All right. Next category is, what is your favorite scene? So if you had to pick just a favorite scene, what would it be? Any nominees?
I'm gonna say the shopping montage.
That's what I was gonna say. A favorite sequence.
It's got that song from Austin Powers in it, and it's really just has that energy to it, that feel good energy, you know.
If we're talking about like just individual scene itself and not sequence, I really love the quitting scene where he's just like, he's got the fake arm and he's like chasing him around with the fake arm in the office. He's just like, I'm doing this all for $300 a week, for $300 a week. I thought that's really fun. And the first dinner sequence that he has with Meg Ryan is just like a really good scene. But I mean, the shopping sequence is the best. There's a reason why we're sending hammer schlammers.
we gotta all excitedly text each other when we get the catalogs in the mail. Just saying that.
I can't wait. I'm ordering this shit now.
Also we had said previously, but the like the scene where he's dining alone is very impactful. Like,
there's that wide shot of him just totally alone. I like the nominee of the first Meg Ryan date, like that whole sequence of them at dinner and then coming home and then having that moment where they're kissing and then they stop and then he again comes off too strong with the whole dying thing. I think that's a great moment to kick off the movie. I'll also like to nominate the scene with the the dad that's does the whole exposition dump of his company and just sets up the whole journey. I forget what that actor is, but that I love that whole section. That was just a really good way to kind of ramp up the
You're saying like the
energy.
guy that says to him, "You like, do you want to jump in a volcano?"
Yeah. He's the Meg Ryan's dad.
It's
right?
what's the
owner.
actor's name?
Lloyd
It's
Bridges.
Robert
It's
Robert
Jeff
Stack.
Bridges.
I recognize him from Airplane. He's in Airplane, and he's in the like totally forgotten Steven Spielberg movie 1941.
No,
wait.
which-
Are you talking about the doctor or the
Lloyd Bridges is
Yes.
the business owner.
Oh,
Right.
sorry, I was getting
He's,
mixed up who you're talking about.
It's Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges' dad.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout out to both of them. Again, just character actors out the wazoo in this fucking movie.
But my actual pick is the boat, the typhoon boat sinking into Titanic before the Titanic saving Meg Ryan on the suitcases and then surviving out in the open water. Again, my Zoom background with the yelling at the moon, just that whole everything,
It's so great.
everything before the island, just that whole section of like late stage of the boat, because I like the boat too, like that whole energy. Just if you just take that whole section, like I don't know, somewhere in there is my favorite scene, probably the shouting at the moon. But I just love that section.
That shot, there's like one specific shot that I wrote down wherever she's Meg Ryan's like standing on the bow of the ship, like, and it's like super cloudy behind her, that's lit like just like fucking to perfection. It's just like, our boy got it. Like this is nailed the shots. You're right. If I was gonna amend my best like scene to one whole scene sequence, it might be everything on the trunk ship. The dancing on the raft and the putt on there, and Meg Ryan just being like dead. I don't know. Extremely unconscious for like 3 days straight next to her. Just playing his little ukulele next to her. Like that all is great. I love all that.
Man. All right, next category is what is the most iconic moment? I think if we're talking Hanks, I love the shot of him in the tuxedo ready to jump into the volcano. I'd probably say that is the most iconic moment. I think is that the letterbox header on this? Well, it's them getting married, about to jump into the volcano. But yeah, that whole that image of him in the tuxedo, I think is probably the most iconic moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's him dancing for me, and I think that's so Hanks and so fun. And yeah, I just I love him so much. I love Tom Hanks.
That is like especially young Hanks, that like goofy energy where it's like the goofy uncle energy that he would bring to movies. It's the dancing.
I agree. Yeah.
Any more iconic moment nominees?
The whole damn
Those
movie.
are the big ones that I'm thinking. I was thinking of also just the way that he's fishing on the boat. Again, it's Tom Hanks is such a physical actor,
Right.
and just seeing the way that he moves. That's why I was trying to think of whenever thinking about if Cruise could be in this. I don't know. Cruise has a very different type of physicality to his acting.
Right.
That they would have to change up the Joe character to fit that type of mold. Next
category is Fellas WYD. What would you do? What would you do if you had a brain cloud and you had to jump into a volcano? Would you do it? I know I would probably just run away with the credit cards, honestly. You would not find me. I would dip so fast. I would be off the map.
How hard was it to cancel credit cards back in like 1989? Like, was it like a whole process that you could get pretty far away before the cards got canceled, or what? What do we think?
I mean, you could buy enough food. I would buy some type of like an RV or something, maybe some type of mobile living situation and just load it up with as much food as possible. I don't know. That probably wouldn't last me too long.
I would jump in the volcano because it only led to good things.
Yeah, you're pro volcano.
Yeah, no, it led to good things. Like everything worked out for him. So why the hell
They're in
not?
love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm taking that gold card. I'm going to Hamisher Schlemmer and I'm saying, this catalog, give me all of it.
Give me the robot.
Everything on here. I want the
Actually,
SAG
I want two
affiliated
robots.
I want two SAG
Two of them,
affiliated.
yeah, and I want them to fight.
robots. Fight and then also be like lovers. I don't know. I mean, they're actors. They can
let them
do whatever
figure it
they
out.
want. Yeah, they'll figure things out.
Why don't we just throw the robots into the volcano?
Does that count as the sacrifice? Also,
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions for just like this whole world. Like the Waponi people, are they like? Is it like a people that they're very like ashamed of everyone, that like nobody will volunteer? They had to just find some fucking dude in New York to jump into this volcano because one guy can't just do it.
Well, it's every 100 years. So the previous generation had to deal with this issue. Like the current group did not have to really deal with this too much.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, damn, that couldn't be me. That's crazy. I don't know. Like, there's got to be some kind of a better way to decide. Like, is there crime in this world? Like somebody like steals an orange soda, so therefore they have to now be sacrificed to the volcano.
Did they ever?
If there's anything about this movie, it's to not question.
Did they explain the soda? Yeah. Is that related?
No, it's a throwaway joke.
I thought that was going to tie into like the
you would think, right?
Semiconductor mining operation that he had. And he was like paying them off with soda or something.
Well.
All right.
No.
The next category is the Run P category, brought to you by Run P, the app that tells you the best time when you should go pee during every movie. Run P, the app. Download it now. What's the Run P? The scene.
I'd say when he's with like LA Meg Ryan.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Sorry, and Andrea, what's her name? Angelica.
Mm-hmm. Is it? Are you allowed to go pee like as the movie's ending? Like, are you allowed to pee? Is it like one of the? Whenever you're sitting in the movie theater and you're like, I gotta go. I just can't.
I hear you though.
It
with the third act, I hear you, but I think it's got such a nice stinger, like at the end of them living happily ever after, that you kind of would like to see that. You'd like to see them thrown out of the volcano. You get your
not like the entire time, but I'm saying like they get to the island, you meet Abe Vigoda, chief. And then, like, I don't know, we can skip the whole bit about how, like, Meg Ryan gets pampered and Tom Cruise gets, like, a banana smushed in his face and he gets, like, fish smacked on his back as a massage. That's what's happening to him.
That was really funny. And then he has this, like, the squid or the octopus. It's like an octopus.
Sucking on his face.
That was nice. I got to go with LA section. That just feels, because I don't want to miss the New York stuff. You know, that's some of the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's tough to cut anything with Meg Ryan.
It's a short movie.
It's
you can hold it. You'll be fine. Thanks Run P for sponsoring this episode. Run P app. All right. Next category is so we have a. This is a replacement for the Cruise category. We evaluate him physically, but because it's Hanks, we're still figuring this out. This is only the second Hanks. Mm-hmm. Instead of his physicality, it's more of just like his essence, his charisma. Where does this rank? Like maybe on a 1 to 5 scale, on the Hanks scale of just how Hanksy is it? What, as we move forward in this series, we're gonna start to hone in on exactly what that means. But just based on this and Big, I feel like Big is so close to a 5 out of 5 on the Hanks scale. This, you're not getting a lot of Hanks. He's kind of outshined for a lot of the movie. I don't think this movie necessarily, most of the stuff that works about this movie is not because of Tom Hanks. It's because it's the directing, the writing, the production design, Meg Ryan. So I'd probably go somewhere in like the 3.5 range on the Hanks scale.
That's kind of generous. Well, it depends. Are we talking about like the fun uncle quality of
the
Hanks,
charisma.
or are we talking about okay? Because I don't think it's like a deeply charismatic performance, except for like here and there in little bits. Like whenever he's like alone and cooking in a scene, that's when like Hanks gets to shine. The proto Castaway scene that we were talking about earlier, like stuff like that. That's like the most that Hanks gets. Most of the time when he's with other people, he's kind of keeping it low key.
Mhm.
So I'd go like a 1.5.
Oh
wow.
1.5 to a 2.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Because he's really
I
good at. There's
disagree.
just the volume isn't there. Like we got to get our boy more shots.
I hear you. I mean, I think compared to something like The Burbs, where I feel like he's like yelling in like every scene, and like he's like full Hanks on that like goofy like uncle like level. I don't think he's necessarily that here, but I do think that he shines and gives a really great emotional performance as well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go a 3.5 as well. Yeah.
Sell me on The Burbs. We're not covering that in this series. Should that be a side quest?
Yeah, The Burbs is maybe my favorite Hanks performance.
Nice. Wow.
It's great. It's Joe Dante, so it's super cartoony. It is so good. It is just. I mean, I don't know how to sell it other than just saying, like Joe versus the Volcano. Like it is entirely unique and different, and it's wonderful. It's great. The two really work well together.
I'll have to put it on my watch list. Yeah, Hunter and I are trying to hit some side quest movies that we're not covering in the main line.
Yeah, no, check it out. I cannot recommend it enough. It's one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies.
I need to see it. I really love Joe Dante. I'm a small soldiers defender out here. There's
I haven't seen that.
But proud of us. That. It's like kind of not a kids movie, but
yeah, it's not.
I still love it.
One of my rep theaters near me is playing it in November. I was considering seeing it because I've never seen it before.
Nice. Yeah, I saw it like
Soldiers.
It's been a while, but I love some Joe Dante. I need to check this out. I definitely have a few more blind spots for like young Hanks than I do young Cruise. I've never seen Turner and Hooch, which is like a big old blind spot. That The Burbs, some of these like very early ones before Tom Hanks really becomes Tom Hanks that we know and love today. So he's definitely going to add The Burbs on here.
He's still figuring things out at this point. This is right before the run really starts. Like I feel like next Hanks is let's see what's the next Hanks.
So right
A League of Their
after
Own.
this one is
that's kind of where it really begins.
Yeah. I prefer a goofy Hanks. I'll say. I mean, I'll say that I love Tom Hanks. I'm always happy that when he shows up in movies. My least favorite movie of the year was what was it called?
Pinocchio.
A man called Otto.
Thank you.
You weren't a fan of A Man Called Otto? A Man Named Otto?
Let's just say I saw it on a Monday when I was unemployed temporarily, and it was popping with those 60-year-old plus crowd who were eating it up.
Well,
I thought it was
Let me tell you,
that's where you went wrong,
Sean.
You're not a
problem.
Something-year-old man.
Maybe we're gonna have to censor this whole part out of the podcast because our biggest demo is women 45 to 65. So like that is
no disrespect to them, but if they want that AARP cinema, then go for it. Like it's a piece of shit movie. I hate it.
It's a movie that
Otto caught dead in a ditch.
I truly don't know a single fucking thing except for
y'all. Neither of you have seen it.
Absolutely,
I'm not going to.
I almost watched it on an airplane. I was like, "This feels like an airplane movie."
Don't do it.
Hey, it's from the director of Christopher Robin.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I like
I
that
wouldn't-
movie. It was a decent movie. This is a piece of shit.
I wouldn't have been surprised if you told me that like Delta was a producer of A Man Called Otto, and it was just like made to be streamed on airplanes everywhere around the country.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. Hated it. It's a perk of AMC A list, you know, seeing
Right. You just
whatever
show
you
up.
want to see. But that movie it's technically a movie from last year. It came out wide this year. It's on my Letterboxd ranked list as the my least favorite movie of the year. I hated it.
Wow.
Wow. Well, damn, that's
Great, Tom.
A Man
But
Called
then
Otto.
you know,
Dunzos.
Asteroid City, he was really good in, so you know, it's
What?
not,
He's great in Asteroid City.
not Tom Hanks's fault. I love Tom Hanks, but I just don't want to see him. Like I guess it's like Tom Hanks is such a good everyman. I don't really want to see him play a sad sack of shit. Like I can't. I hate that. Like it's not him. I gotta see him like goofy and funny and just screaming, doing that like classic like
Yeah.
Woody scream. Like I love that. Like a man called Otto. Oh, it's garbage.
Where
Throw it in
are
the
you
trash.
at on Elvis? Are you
Oh, it's great.
pro
He's
Elvis?
a wonderful performance because he's doing something insanely weird. That's a
So
five-star movie for me,
you're
too.
part of the Elvis hive. You're part of like Elvis was actually like Elvis was a romp.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Elvis was wonderful.
There's
I saw
few
that.
but
I saw
proud
it in
of us.
Dolby. I loved it. I gave it 5
I'm
stars.
saying as the Austin Butler heads, as Austin Butler stock continues to rise, I watched Elvis in the middle of a hurricane in Florida last year, and I had no AC. And I was like 8 White Claws deep, and I was like, now's the time to throw on Elvis.
Did you
It's
start
like
doing the voice like you did?
96 degrees in the house, and I'm just like drunk off my ass and watching Elvis, and it was great. It was a fantastic time that I'll never forget. And I watched it on a laptop.
Oh, wow.
Great movie.
The way that it was intended to be screened.
I saw it in Dolby. It was wonderful. Yeah.
The final category is recaging and re-Robin Couch. Where are Nicolas Cage and Robin Williams in this movie?
Robin Williams is a toy salesman at Hammer Schlemmer, and Nicolas Cage is his weird coworker
Yes.
at his office, who is really creepy, but then encourages him to leave.
That is dead on. That's almost exactly what I was going to say. The Cage one is perfect. The Robin one, I think that there's a little bit of a couple different options for Robin in this movie. I think that you could throw in Robin as another offensive Polynesian man.
That's what I hate. That's the first place that I thought, because boy, oh boy, does
Right
Robin
next to
like to do
Nathan Lane.
voices. Robin
Yeah.
loved to do, our boy, rest in peace to the king, loved to do some very questionable voices.
Yeah.
And he would have been like, don't worry, guys, I got the accent down. Like, no notes. I got this. Don't worry.
6
You're
years
like,
before
Robin,
the
no,
Birdcage. So it was like it would have been like a pre-reunion for the Birdcage for him and Nathan.
No, that's
Lane.
true. Yeah.
They would have been vibing. Yeah. All right. What were you gonna throw out another one, Hunter?
Oh no, I was just saying I love that. I was gonna say my Nick Cage one was going to be his boss at the office, but we're thinking in the same energy here.
Yeah.
Put Cage in that
Boss
gray
has more
environment.
lines for sure.
Yeah.
The coworker's just kind of there.
It's like a coworker who
Boss
like
is just
rides
like,
a motorcycle.
I know he's good at the job, but can he do the job?
Joe's
I
like
know he can get the job.
Joe's
not
intimidated
arguing
by
with you.
him. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. A special bonus category just for Sean. What's the seltzer that's the tie-in seltzer for Joe versus the Volcano?
Oh, I hate to say it, but those the folks on the island, they like orange soda. Is that correct? Was that
Yeah,
was
that
that what
is
it was?
true. Mm-hmm. You thinking like an orange and cream polar
Yeah,
or
it's gonna
something?
be like orange lava seltzer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will not enjoy that seltzer. As someone who I'm drinking currently a raspberry bubbly, actually, as we're closing out this. It's a good one. I'm trying to make myself like bubbly more because I think eventually I'm gonna get a soda stream, and bubbly has never been my go-to, but bubbly has the monopoly on soda streams as their seltzer provider. So I have to make myself like them.
Is it the Michael Bublé branded bubbly?
It's the bubbly. Really, I mostly only like the raspberry and the grapefruit bubbles. I'm not a big fan of orange. seltzers. A lot of
Mhm.
times I find them too strong, too overpowering.
Like an orange vanilla. It's very good. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say it, that's what the seltzer for this movie would have been. It's true.
All right, we can wrap it up there. We did it. We jumped into the volcano and we survived. So thank you all for being with us. Thank you for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts on Joe versus the Volcano. Check out weboughtamic.net. Get every episode in your inbox. Join the Discord. Thank you, patrons, for supporting this episode. Thank you, Run P, for sponsoring this episode. Patreon.com/weboughtamic if you want to join the Patreon. $5 a month. Next week, it's back to Cruise with A Few Good Men. And we're going to start sprinkling in some new releases, some fall new releases. We got a little mini Killers of the Flower Moon podcast coming at you. And we're going to try to do Priscilla and The Killer. So keeping the wheels on the series while also sprinkling in some new releases. So stick around for that. Sean, thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it. We had a great time. Thanks for selecting this movie. Any last thoughts on the movie, on Tom Hanks? And please plug the Seltzer Cast and everything else you got going on.
Yeah, so the Seltzer Cast is on hiatus at the moment. Will it come back? We will see. It probably will at some point. Who knows? But we have a great backlog of episodes. Please check it out. If you like carbonated beverages, we're the Seltzer Cast. We're available wherever podcasts are available. But more importantly than that, I want all of your listeners to stream Wild Mountain Time. Also check out The Burbs. It's a really good movie. So yeah.
Awesome.
What is Wild Mountain Time streaming on?
I don't know. I rented it and paid money for it at the time when it came out.
Well, I think
I'm not paying money for this.
It was
I'm
one
gonna
of
tell
those
you that right
pandemic. Wasn't it one of those pandemic?
Yeah, exactly.
Pieces?
It was a 2020 movie.
It's on Hulu.
Oh,
okay.
There we go. Stream it on Hulu. Well, thank you so much, man. We'll hope to have you on again soon. And yeah, stick around. Keep it Joey. Keep it volcano-y. And if you're stuck in a shitty office job that you don't like, take the chance, take the leap. You might meet 3 other Meg Ryans out there. You never know. Thanks for listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye.